Today in Nashville, the at-home edition. I'm Kelly Sutton. That's Carole Sullivan. Cheers to you, friend.
Happy Friday.
Woo!
Yeah, cheers to you. Hold on, let me get my little cup.
There
Cheers
it is.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's Friday. And listen, if you are looking for a little boost, we've got it for you because George Brescia is on the show, okay? This man, I love this man so much. He has styled the biggest names on the biggest red carpets all around the world for decades. He has worked and been the stylist at the powerhouse of Ralph Lauren, Donna Karan. I mean, the list goes on and on. He makes appearances on QVC, which is like, he's just so funny. He's like, I'll do that. Like, he's just so great. But he's at a point in his career where he's checked so many boxes off that he's like, I really just want everybody to look their best. You know, he's done all the glamour stuff. He's like, I want everyone to figure out the right shape, the right look. And so his book has been revamped. And it's all about like having personal style and how it affects your self-worth. And he gives his tips on how to look your best. I'm really excited. He's just a dream.
Change your clothes, change your life. I remember when he came in the studio the very first time. He's truly one of those people, you meet them and 35 seconds in, you're like, oh, we're best friends. I didn't know that, but now I do.
It is so true. And you know what he said, Kelly? He really loves coming on our show. We finished and he said, I need to tell you something. I travel all around the world. I do shows all the time. It's like, I love coming into your studio. And of course, this time it was virtual, but he's been in our studio a couple times. He goes, you and Kelly just are great. It was just so, I was like,
I love you, George. Okay, not to interrupt this amazing story of people loving on us, because we'll take that any day. But I heard a crash. So is everything okay at your house? I heard a little crash that was happening in the kitchen.
Oh, I love that. I did not even hear this crash, and I'm in this dwelling. That's where I'm at, guys. In 2020, crash, screams. It has to reach a certain decibel level or certain pitch for me to actually react. I didn't even realize. You know, my son is grilling steak for the first time today in home ec Sullivan style. He is grilling these really thick, wonderful steaks that I had in the food coffin that needed to get grilled. So, Patrick, are they resting? Yeah. Did you tent it with foil? No. Okay, okay, go grab some foil and put a tent. But don't seal it because that'll steam and we don't want that. So now the steaks are going into a resting period. Grill and then rest.
Grill
I made that mistake when I was young. I would grill a steak and I would eat it immediately and all the juices would run out and it would taste like, like I was eating a wool sock.
Can I tell you the trick that we learned from one of our friends that owned a Famous Dave's for years? He said their whole thing, and I mean, it's not really a trick. A lot of people do it. But as soon as they bring it off and they put it in rest, they put a big pat of butter on it.
Oh,
You just let it rest with that butter. And
that is a steakhouse. And Kelly, I think if there's anything that you and I have learned from having a lot of chefs on our show, they use a lot of butter at restaurants.
Yes.
And they'll say that, you know, that's why when you go out to eat and you get your grab and goes, it tastes so much more decadent. Right. One, they're using a really, really high quality butter, a lot of the fancy places, and they finish with the butter.
Put that butter on there, honey. And you know what? You don't want to do it at home because then you feel like, oh my gosh, I've just added 1,000 calories to it probably. But when
someone else does it, doesn't count.
Doesn't count. Eating out doesn't count. I love this. Okay, can I just say, one of my favorite things that I've had in my life, like top 5 things that I've eaten. There's one thing that my friend Courtney and I shared. It was several years ago, catbird seat, which, they bring it out and you just don't know what you're going to get. There was a tomato sandwich, Carole. And when I say it's a tomato sandwich, it legitimately was slice of tomato, mayo on this beautiful little bun that they had made that had some melted butter on the top and then had some flowers, like real flowers, little sprinkle herbs on the very top. Still one of my favorite things I've ever eaten. I still dream about that tomato sandwich. Isn't that crazy?
No, that is not crazy. And I completely relate to that. When you have something really simple done with a few little like tricks, it's just like, whoa, what just happened here? Oh, it's so good. That's so good. Speaking of food, today on the show, friend of the show, Chef BJ Loftback is on. And we always have him on when he's doing a really cool Korean flair of things with Funk Soul Brother. And he teaches us how to use flavors that we might not normally have in our kitchen, but are very accessible and good. He has launched a lobster truck, Pinchies, like the lobster Pinchies. And I saw that they were doing a soft opening at the factory at Franklin. It was my birthday weekend, and I was not in the mood to cook because I've cooked every meal in 2020. So I was like, we are going. I got a warm, a cold, and the mac and cheese. And let me just tell you, wow.
Really?
Unbelievable. Yes. And sometimes I have a hard time like lobster Nashville. But turns out this whole delivery system is they've really got it down. So you can have super fresh, amazing lobster. Unbelievably good. He's a master at flavors, and these are really simple dishes, much like you said with the tomato sandwich. A very simple concept with a big flavor. So find them. They're on Instagram, Pinchies. We're going to talk about it later in the show, but I just wanted to give him extra love because it really just made my weekend. And my daughter said his mac and cheese was the best she ever had.
Well, I was going to say, okay, so you did the hot, the cold, and the mac and cheese. Of those three, which one would you order first next time?
Okay, the warm was absolutely my favorite. I don't know if I just like the warmness of it because it kind of melded into the bun. Because both flavors were really good. So I just think I liked the warm.
Okay.
And then the mac and cheese, now I had her with me, so she didn't want the lobster mac and cheese, which is fine. So we just got a side of mac and cheese. It is creamy. It's everything a kid wants, but a little better. Do you know what I mean? And he goes, look, I actually like the box mac and cheese too. He goes, so I kind of went that direction, but made it better. I was like, yes, you did.
Elevated mac and cheese. I'm here for it. And you know what? That just makes me happy because we love BJ so much. He's such a friend of the show. And to hear that he's got a new venture, that does my heart good. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool for sure. What a fun little venue we have here today in Nashville.
I know. Hey, and we're also talking to two YouTube stars. I got to tell you, the Earls family. So I don't know if you follow them or not. I'm not into YouTube as much as my child is, but they started this YouTube channel. Earls family, they are precious. It's Harold and Rachel. She started this YouTube channel when she was engaged to him while he was a cadet at West Point. So it was kind of like the top 10 signs that you know you're dating somebody from West Point, right? And that kind of took off. It really took off. And so they've really now encompassed what their life has been like. They got married. They've got 2 kids. But when they got married, he told her his dream was to climb Mount Everest. Now, this is coming from a guy. This would be like you or I looking at our spouse and saying, I think I want to climb Mount Everest. Had never climbed a mountain before, didn't have climbing experience, and basically said this to her and thought, okay, I might scare her away by saying it. And instead she jumped in and she's like, yes, we're going to make that goal happen. So he did it. They've written a book now, A Higher Calling. It is so great. So we're going to talk to them all about it. And I fell in love with them. They're precious.
Oh, that's so cool. All right, I'm looking forward to that story. We got a fun show ahead. Let's do it.
We got a fun show. Let's get it started, everybody. You're watching Today in Nashville. We'll be back.